Lesson 41 is about adding some design and style to a table, and also how to put a table inside a document, or to add a table in a letter or in a memo document that will explain more detail about the contents of that document. On page 2-79, it tells you about the Design tab in the Table Tools. We've already talked about the Layout tab and all of its functions and tools here, and now we're going to talk about the Design tab. The Design tab has styles in it, and borders and colors. And whenever you want to dress up a table a little bit, let's just say this is an annual report that you're going to give to your stockholders or to your board of directors, and you don't want just a plain old black and white blah table. You can dress it up a little bit with some color and some design. It still looks very professional. It's not frivolous at all, but you just need to know where to go to do that. And on page 2-80, it says that table styles are located in the Table Styles group on the Design tab. Here's the Table Styles group. Now, there's a button here that says More when you touch it with your mouse, and when you click the More button, you get a lot of different styles and color choices to add to your table. The styles are arranged in 3 groups. The plain tables display at the top, and here's the plain tables, and you can see that it's just basically lines, borders and lines, and they're all black. Then we have the grid tables. The grid tables are a variety of colors and also borders. You can see that there are alternating colored rows. Sometimes the row 1 is a dark solid color. Sometimes there's a darker border underneath row 1. And then there are the list tables at the end of the choices, which are a little bit different because in some of these you have headings in column A. There's a heading column A. Here's another heading column A. All of these across have column A as some headings, and they have headings across the top of row 1. And you can see that they incorporate darker borders on some of the rows and no borders on some of the rows and different colors on some of the heading columns and rows. So there's a lot to choose from here. You can also modify the styles if you pick one you like, but you want to make maybe a black border in this green table, solid green table, then you can do that by choosing Modify Table Style, or create your own style altogether. So in drill 1 at the bottom of page 280, I have the insert file open from the data files, and we're going to apply grid table to accent 1 style. Okay, this is the grid table. The grid table is the second group in the More button, so we're going to click the More button. We're looking for the grid tables, and we want grid table to accent 1. You have to just hunt for these. There's no way of knowing, and by pointing to each one you'll see the name. This is grid table 1 light. Well, we want grid table 2. Let's move down here. Grid table 2. Okay, now we want accent 1. So let's move over. Grid table to accent 1, and this is the one the instructions on page 2-80 want us to apply to the table that's on our screen. Okay, it applied the format of that style. It also shoved the table over here to the left margin, so as you remember from a previous video, we're going to have to move that back over here or else put it inside a document, whatever the instructions tell us to do. Okay, step number 3 at the bottom of page 2-80. Insert a row at the end of the table. Alright, easiest way to do that is click in the last cell and press the tab key. And we're going to key the word total. And then we're going to, in cell C8, which is over here at the end, we're going to type in $581,000 with 700 at the end. Alright, now it says click the total row checkbox in this Table Style Options group. Table Style Options group. click the total row checkbox. Now it's empty right now. If we put a check mark in there, it's going to add the format for a total row. Right now it looks just like the rest of the table. So let's click the total row checkbox, and you can see it took off the color. It put a double line there that was not there a minute ago. Number 5, remove the check mark from the first column checkbox to change the look of the first column. The first column right now has a single border on the right side and alternating colors and bold text. So let's take the check mark out of the box that says first column, and now it took the bold font off of the names in column A. Step number 6 says center the table horizontally on the page. Table move handle to select the entire table, and Control E on the keyboard. And there is drill 1 that you are now ready to proofread, look over, and save to your flash drive. If you want to create a table inside a document, let's open up drill 2 here. This is 41 drill 2. There's my open icon, and I'm going to browse to my flash drive, to my course folder, and 41 drill 2. Alright, here is the drill 2 solution as you see it up above drill 2 on page 2-81. It says in drill 2 to key the text as shown in the illustration above. When you key the text as shown, you also create the table. The text isn't just the paragraph above and below the table, it's everything you see in that illustration. And then it says to turn on show hide, and please always use show hide in your work. It's on the home tab, and it shows you as the little backwards P with the 2 vertical lines on it, that it shows you paragraph marks and other hidden symbols, and those hidden symbols will save you a lot of error deduction if you learn how to use show hide. If, for example, whoops, I have to unlock this document, pardon me a minute. Alright, if for example you goof and hit the enter key twice after this paragraph before you put your table in there, you'll see that there's a big extra white space here. It's a bigger white space above the table than it is below the table. And if you can remember to turn on show hide, you'll say, oh yeah, I did. I pressed the enter key twice there, and it should only be 1 enter key. So you can delete one of the 2 enter keys to eliminate that extra white space, and that will give you back those points when the work is graded. Same thing as if you have extra spaces between words. You'll notice there's a bigger gap of space between on and purchase, and as there is between in and stock and. You can see the difference in the width of space between these words, and you can say, what in the world is going on here? And you can turn on show hide, and you can see that there are 2 little dots there. Well, each dot is a space bar. So in that particular case, we hit the space bar accidentally 2 times instead of 1, so you can just either delete or backspace out the extra one there. Also, at the end of every document, when you get finished typing a document, you should not have any enter keys, space bars, tab key symbols after the last thing that was typed, except for this last enter key symbol. It does not go away. This last symbol actually indicates the end of the document, so it's attached to the cursor. If I press the enter key a few more times, you'll notice that the cursor stays attached to it. If I hit the space bar a few times, that cursor still is attached to it. If I press the tab key a couple times, the cursor is still attached to this. So this is the end of the document symbol, and it needs to be at the end of the last character that was typed in the document, in the body of the document. So if you open up your document sometimes and you turn on show hide and you see all this extra trash down here after the last word that was typed, you need to backspace all this out until it's all gone, because those are errors. They are worth a lot of damage points to the grade on your document. You never, ever, ever want to see any extra symbols of any kind underneath the last thing that was typed in your document. So in this case, I'm going to click right there at the end of that period, and I'm going to hit the delete key until all this stuff, junk I call it, trash, goes away. And that's the way you want the end of your document to look. Nice and clean, no extra stuff underneath it. And if you do have the extra stuff, it may create problems with the layout of your document. So you always, always want to make sure that it's a clean document at the bottom of the document. So I kind of got off on a tangent there. My point is, when you put a table in a document, you have to have a blank space of a blank white space above the table and below the table, separating the table from the paragraphs. And it explains that very nicely in the text at the top of page 2-81. You've got a few tables here that are a little bit longer. There is a document at the bottom of page 2-83 that wants you to create a block letter with open punctuation and to add any extra parts that need to be added to that letter. Your table will not look like this when you're done with it. It will be, actually, let me open up the solution and we'll see what it looks like. All right. Let's see, that is 41D3. Okay, here we go. And here are the show hide symbols that you can count to make sure you've got the right amount of symbols. Here's our block letter, and here's the table. The table has had a style added to it, so your table does not look like what you see in the book. And in most cases, your work, when you're finished with it, will not look like it does in the book. So be aware of that. Don't try and make your work look like it does in the book. Just follow the instructions. Make sure you use the guidelines that you have learned as you learn the different documents.